Welcome to Harry's Hilarious How To, the show where we show you how to. I'm your host, Justin Schultz, and today I'll be showing you how to hand whistle. Not with your mouth, but with your hands. First off, we're going to get started and talk about how to whistle in general. Whistling involves blowing air out of your mouth with your lungs, or out of your lungs, through your lips, and you have to kind of form a circle. A circle, push the air through the circle, and you get a nice little twirl sound. It also has to do with your tongue and some other things, but that's whistling with your mouth. If you know how to whistle with your mouth, then you're that much closer to whistling with your hands. If you don't know how to whistle with your mouth, well, just try to stick with us and try to do as I say, and we can maybe help you to getting on to whistling with your hands. Now, for those of you who don't know, and some of you who have, there's bottles, and we can make a noise with the bottle. It's kind of like a flute, but it distinguishes. It's kind of like a flute, but however much water you have, or fluids, or beverage you have in your bottle will determine the different pitch, like so. So, as you can see, as we blow air out of our mouths through a circle, or blowing across a bottle through a circle, we get a noise. And all you're simply doing when you're hand whistling is doing that through a circle, like so. Now, as we begin, you can sit back, relax, and enjoy this video, or you can learn and do as we do. All right, getting off, we have our hands. If we look at our hands, we have this little flabby thing right here that goes between our thumb and our index finger. It doesn't matter which side, as long as we know that this flabby part is here. That's all we need to know. We also have this side of our hands and this side of our hands, as I'll be referencing. I'm unsure what those are called, but we'll just refer to this side of the palm. This is your palm. These are your fingers. Fingers, palm, side, and your two thumbs that meet. Now also, when you're doing hand whistling, you have to look for air that's leaking. Air leaking can kind of be like this, and it won't make a noise, because if I were to poke a hole in this bottle, then we wouldn't get a sound. It would just sound like that or that. And if I were to poke a hole in my cheek, it would be the same thing. So, we don't want any leaking air. Common areas for leaking air is between this little crevice. There's a crevice right here that when we put our palms together, it creates a hole, if you can see. See that little hole? That hole, we don't want that. So sometimes when we form this cave, we want to offset and fit our palms together snugly so there's no leakage of air. And starting off, we will do our step one, and we will use this flab or this flab and use our opposite fingers respectively. If you want to use your left, start with your left hand, use this flab, start with your right fingers to form on this flab, or vice versa with your right hand flab and your left fingers on the flab. Whatever is your preference is up to you. So, as I said, we'll be using this flab. We want to kind of form this sealant. We want to seal our fingers, our three fingers, in this crevice and snug it on this flab. So as we do that, we then want to bring our other fingers on our flabby hand that we're using, whether that be your left or right, but your flabby hands, fingers, and then wrap them around onto this side of the palm, like so. So we're making simply a cave, if you can see. And like I said before, this crevice, you got to be careful of leaking air, so you want to offset and press that and use this flab, use this surface, and wrap around and create this cave. Now, in making this cave, you don't want to leak air, like I said. Sometimes you can leak air over here, but you just want to make a nice, snug, and tight grip, creating the only hole, which is your circle, that when your thumbs come together towards you, it forms a little bit of a circle, kind of like this bottle, or your lips. So you want to leave that circle open. That's the only circle that's open. And so your cave is like your bottle. Your hand cave is like the cavity in your mouth. And many people go wrong in trying to do this because they blow into the hole and it doesn't quite work. If I were to take this bottle and blow into the hole, it wouldn't really do anything because no air is leaving, and I can't blow into something that's sealed. So, like we saw before, using this bottle, when we blow across the bottle, it makes the noise. So, like that, you take the hole, which is similar to the bottle hole, and blow across the hole, and you make a nice little twirling sound. Now, it is a little bit difficult because right when I started hand whistling, I tried and tried and tried, and I was learning from a book. And they didn't quite have the drawings specifically on the page that made sense to me. But I tried, and they said, if you can't get it in 5 minutes, get up, walk around, come back and try again. So if that's you, take a break and rewatch this video. But anyway, all it has to do with is this flabby and wrap around, seal with this palm into this cave, making sure that you don't lose air through this little crevice, forming these this little hole, and blowing across this hole. The best way to envision it, and if you're blowing across the hole, is if you were to kiss your knuckles. That's right, kiss your knuckles. Now, you have your 2 thumb knuckles that come together, and you want to just kind of put them in your mouth and kind of kiss them like that. But then, instead of blowing into the hole, we got to rotate the cave or the hole up so you're blowing across this hole. So, kiss your knuckles and blow across the hole. Like so. Kiss knuckles, and blow across the hole. Now, if you're still not getting it, it does take a little bit of getting used to and looking for areas that you're commonly leaking air, whether it be over here, here, or over here. So, in trying to do that, as you blow across the hole, you can kind of tighten up, release, or expand the cave, trying to position your hands in a way where you can hand whistle. So, like so, if I were to let a little bit of air out, it doesn't really work. But if I shift, and shift some more, and shift, tighten up, we start to hear that cave echoing noise, kind of like a whistle, but not quite. So keep working at it. And we hit that noise. Like so. So, now, if you saw earlier, I was playing songs on my hands. Now, that takes when you get a little bit of practice. Once you can get a tune, holding a tune, then you can move on to using your hands to make music. Now, people who can whistle, maybe you can also make whistle noises and whistle sounds in songs. Simply listen to a song off the radio, like Wrecking Ball, Miley Cyrus. It's really hard to teach somebody how to change the pitch in their whistle, that it's simply just learning and manipulating your tongue and the space or the cave inside your crevice. Now, it kind of relates the same way with your hands, that you're tweaking and twirling and kind of making it so you can change the air and how the air spins in the cave to make that distinctive sound. So all it is trial and error, is you just try and try, get your sound, and then you can open it up and see how far you can open it without losing the sound and how closed you need for the sound. So, as you can see, I open and close, and that's that. So really all you have to do is just kind of play with it and try to get that distinct sound. Now, I'm just simply going out and in, opening this back hole and exposing the air to spin in this cave differently. Now, if you were to create distinct notes, like you would, now that involves using your fingers. But first you need to work on getting that sound with simply just blowing with your cave closed. Then you move into your trill, which would be in relation to the whistle of. There's no distinct note changes, there's just which then relates to So that's your trill. Then you move on to getting your distinct sounds, where you can, if you play an instrument, you kind of use your tongue to the air so you can get that note, like a one note, two note, three note, four note. So simply, well, I hope that you can do it. If not, rewatch the video, and if not, rewatch it again. But thanks for tuning in to Harry's Hilarious How-Tos, the show where we show you how to. I'm your host, Justin Schultz, and thanks for tuning in. Be sure to like us on Facebook, Harry Hilarious How-Tos, and follow us on Twitter, HHH2. That's HHH, 3 H's, and the number 2. That's at HHH2, and then hashtag HHH2. Tune in next time when we learn how to lockpick with a bobby pin. Thanks. Have a good night.